What's up? Yeah, I love you. I got some stuff to do. Well, just make sure we are live. Drop those down. What's going on, guys? Give me 1 second. Let me get ugly. Everything. Throttle Pilot, been a minute, bro. How you doing, my guy? It's been a minute. Let's go live. See what you guys can see. Oh yeah, looks good. I got all the random stuff in the corner, but for now we're good. I look fat from this angle. Maybe I look fat from every angle. But we're all good. Ronald, my guy, what's up, big dog? Well, I'm just hanging out right now, doing me. You know, good Sunday, getting ready for the week. You know, another Monday grind right now. Kind of, the trucking company is really cool right now because we're expanding a lot. No, yeah, I've been seeing you out there, Throttle Pilot. We've been expanding a lot, so we currently have, you know, the 3 lease-ons, but I have a 4th guy, Sean, who's leasing on from Massachusetts. Super awesome guy. He's leasing on, should be on the road this week. We had some problems with getting his portion plates because the state of Massachusetts wants some bull crap from us, but we got it figured out finally, hopefully. So he's leasing on, and then we've got another guy I'm talking to in North Carolina that's going to be leasing on. I also have Rod. Actually, I'm going to make a video. I don't want to spoil too much. Rod, one of the lease-ons, he's from Missouri. He just bought a semi-truck. Just bought it. So we're getting that on the road in a couple weeks. I, on Monday, might be going to go look at a semi-truck. So that's coming up, boys. And then Ray just ordered, or he just got his other truck. So he ordered it a while ago. He got a new F550. We're throwing another sleeper on it right now. So that should be on in about a month. So currently, I think we're probably going to have about 8 trucks, hopefully, on the road within 2 months. And I'll have my own truck on the road as well. So yeah, the truck company's doing really good. I made Flash Dispatch like his own entity, so I have dispatchers that work for that. Trent, obviously, one of the best in the business. But for me now, I have a lady who does my factory, or sends the stuff to the factory. We have a factoring company. So really, with the trucking company, what I do is I make all the paperwork. Or no, I make sure we get paid, obviously, and then I do all the washouts and the settlement sheets, make sure the drivers get paid, the owner-operators get paid, do the payroll for everybody. So that's basically what I'm doing right now, you know, but I have dispatchers in place, the systems have been built, and, you know, I'm just the guy that worries about expansion. So yeah, Tommy, we're definitely growing the business a lot. Michael has a really great question, Michael, thank you. He says, do we recommend lease-on, owner-operator, or company driver? So, obviously, I mean, lease-on would be like you're an owner-operator, right? If you're brand new to trucking in general, let's say you don't have a DOT number, you don't have an MC number, you've never been on the road yourself, and you're wanting to find a good way for you to be able to get on the road fairly easily and make good money, I think leasing onto an already established system is a really, really awesome thing to do. I say that because they already have dispatchers in place usually. They already know lanes that are paying well. And so if you have the right equipment, you can just kind of slide into their system and be making good money, you know. I know when guys lease on to us, you know, I know they can make over 20K that first month because why wouldn't they, right? But if you do want to hold on to as much profit as possible, and you can try and dispatch yourself and get your own authority and stuff, but it is a lot. So leasing on is really a really good option when you're first starting out, I think, especially if you're newer in trucking in general. Because if you don't lease on, at the end of the day, you're probably going to have to hire a dispatcher anyways. So I'd much rather pay to be a part of a system that has established DOT number, established MC number, that already works with a lot of brokers, that already has a dispatcher, that already is signed up for a fuel card, that has an ELD provider. Like all this stuff is going to be included. You don't have to worry about it. You can just worry about, you know, safely putting loads on your trailer, strapping, tarping, getting the load from pickup to drop off. They worry about getting paid through their factoring company, and you're going to get paid regardless, right? So that's a really cool option. Ronald says, I'm really looking at buying a brand new Ram and trailer. Hopefully leasing on with you. Ronald, we'd love to have you, my guy. Like I said, send me an email once you get going. Yeah, Ronald, I think if you're gonna put a sleeper on a truck, I would definitely go for like a F550 or a 550 or a 5500, like whatever your preference is when it comes to truck. 3500 is not a bad truck, but that is kind of what I would say would be your entry level CDL hotshot rig. Would be a Ram 3500, and that sleeper is going to add a good amount of weight to it. And with the Ram 3500, you're already going to have the hassle of your rear axle being put overweight, or having to constantly move freight from your rear axle to farther back. Because we struggle with that when it comes to 3500s. Because let's say, for example, your max rating on that axle is probably 9,600 pounds. But most of the time, you're probably already going to have 6,000 pounds on it, right, Ronald? So it's real important, if you're going to put a sleeper on something, I would definitely get like a 5,500 or an F550. And I know Roadmaster is really backed up right now, so yeah. Guys, we have, Ray's trying to put a sleeper on his truck, and Roadmaster's super backed up, so he found another person down in Texas, a little bit more expensive, but I mean, it's going to work out. But yeah, so that's kind of what I would say about that. I would definitely get a bigger truck, especially if you can buy it. I see a lot of Silverados, 5500s out there. Some of them with short wheelbases, and if you want to put a sleeper on it, obviously you got to get a longer wheelbase. But I see those for 60K, 61, 62,000. I mean, not a bad buy at all. But in this market right now, Ronald, and how long it'll take you just to put that sleeper on, I would go to the Facebook pages and look for people that are trying to sell their setups. I see a lot of people selling their setups, and you can usually get a good truck and trailer for 85,000, 80,000. And a lot of those trucks already have sleepers on. They might have 50, 60, 70,000 miles on them. So not a bad deal at all. Let me what's that, guys? I just made for that. I made a new thumbnail for this, so we make sure we have it. But here we go. Okay, cool. Go back to my YouTube real quick. But yeah, a lot of people don't talk about it, guys. I would say your entry-level hotshot setup for a CDL holder. I mean, obviously, if you're non-CDL, which I mean, I don't really even look at anymore, but if you're more like a non-CDL guy, you can do like a 2,500, right? And you can move 6,000, 7,000 pounds pretty easily, right? And like, whatever. If you can make money doing that, more power to you. But the way I look at it is an entry-level CDL hotshot setup is going to be like a Ram 3500 with a 40-foot, 22 GN trailer. With that setup, you could probably do 18,000 pounds. I mean, 16,000 very comfortably. And that's going to be about like what your entry level is going to be looking like, right? But I would say just popping up to like a 4,500 or a 5,500 or F550 equivalent and having a 25 GN trailer, I mean, you're adding about 3,000 more pounds of weight that you can move. And at that point, you're kind of pushing the limits of what hotshot is. And so all the freight can be your freight, right? You never have that question of putting your axles overweight or your rear axle of your truck overweight. Obviously, it's going to happen if you have short loads that are really heavy, but at that point, you'll be able to take most of the freight that's on the hotshot side of the load boards, right? It's profitable for a company flatbed long haul truck driver experience to go lease on hotshot. I mean, Michael, if you're wanting to go out and do it, like let's say if you're willing to invest, you're willing to finance a truck and trailer. I say we finance a truck and trailer, you're going to need about $10,000 in cash or credit to be able to get started. But I mean, dude, if you're doing over 20K growth a month, which you definitely should be able to if you're part of the right system, um, you're going to hold on to anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 of that, depending on what fuel was like, what your rates were like. So I mean, dude, after truck and trailer payment out of that, I mean, you can clear 6, 7, 8 grand a month fairly regularly. I wouldn't say easy, obviously, but regularly. I mean, that's what the guys on my company do. That's what I've seen. I mean, that's just real numbers on the fact, right? Now, obviously, if you're looking just to make as much money as possible, I mean, semi-truck's going to be the way to go. And this economy, I talked about it in my last video. This economy right now with how fuel is and such. Hotshots, we don't really get like fuel surcharges or any of that. We're not really treated as like a regular full-size semi, so we don't get all of the perks. But it's still pretty profitable right now. We're still making good money, and I think anybody who does it right, who leases onto the right system, can make good money too. And so, but I know a lot of people who try to do everything themselves, want to hold on to as much profit as possible, and then they lose a lot of money. Or I know some companies that can't find good drivers to put in their trucks, and they're not making much money at all. But that's kind of what I would say. That's my 2 cents. But I think if you're willing to be on the road all the time, and you're willing to go out there and be able to go 4 weeks out of the month, and you're on a good system that has a good dedicated dispatch for you, and they're keeping you loaded, you can be doing $24,000, $25,000 a month for sure. Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. As long as you can be comfortable in that truck, obviously, you're going to be on the road a lot. I mean, Hotshot, it's like you can make good money. You definitely can, but it's not the most comfortable thing in the world, especially sleeping in the back of a pickup truck. And you're not treated the same as maybe a full-size semi would be, but you make good money doing it. It'd be good. But yeah, I mean, I think by the end of our, I could just say our insurance, right, October, by the time we hit 2 years of active authority, I'll probably have 10 trucks on the road. That's kind of the goal. Yeah, Ronald, I can definitely help you out, my guy. Am I froze? No, I'm not froze. Okay. I can definitely help you out, brother. I definitely say if you got $100,000, right? Honestly, what I would do, I would find an F550 or equivalent. I'd put a Hotshot bed on there. So you want a cabin chassis or something, then you can take the bed off. If you want to go crazy, you can usually find, dude, like if you went on Facebook right now, I see people selling their full setups, trucks with sleepers on them, like nice sleepers, with under 100,000 miles. You can find a nice full setup for 90 to 95,000. As long as you have a trailer that's at least a 25G in, so 12,000 pound axles, you get an F550. I mean, you're going to be able to do 22,000 pounds on that. And if it doesn't have a sleeper, you're going to save a little bit of weight. Yeah, you can make really good money with that. So that's kind of what I would do, my guy. I would join the Facebook groups, especially if you have the money to do it now. And you can get a steal on some equipment. Like people's always like saying, "Oh, there's no equipment for sale. There's no trucks, whatever." It's like I go on cars.com and I can show you tons of diesel dualies on there, right? I mean, a lot of them obviously are overpriced and not where I want to be, like on price-wise, but you can definitely find some good deals. And then I go on Facebook groups and Facebook Hotshot groups, and I see guys posting their setups for sale all the time. You can get a Big Tex 25G in or 22G in for 17 grand. Like, that's not a bad deal. Scoop that up, as long as it's in good shape, wiring's good, axles are straight, body's good, Scoop that up, and then scoop up a $60,000 truck, XL, bottom trim level, with a make sure it's a diesel dually, and you're good to go, But if you had 100K, that's what I would do. Get on them Facebook pages. don't be afraid to travel for the right deal. You know, a lot of people are like, I don't got anything close. It's like, well, why does it need to be close? You know, we live in 2022. You can't hop on a plane and then take an Uber to wherever the truck's at. I mean, hopefully it's not in the middle of nowhere. Then you got to rent a car. But hop on a plane, hop in an Uber, check the crap out. If it is what it is, you're good to go. But that's not a bad goal, Ronald. So, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. We've been trying to finance a semi for probably the last month now, and I think we're kind of finally locking it down, which is really good. So I'm going to be purchasing a semi here shortly, but buying a semi in general, not the easiest thing in the world. So I think, you know, if you can get a diesel dually, you know, make good money with that, build your company, build your system, and then be able to, you know, show that to the bank and be, hey, I'm going to buy a semi, then they're a lot more keen to be able to loan money on that. Dude, that'd be cool, man. 6-week grind. Michael asks, the short freight or long mile freight pay more per mile? It depends, my guy. I mean, obviously, I definitely say that, you know, shorter freight runs. What's up, Lisa? We're gonna make a fort later. I love you. I'm a little busy right now. Okay, I love you. Can't do it. I'm busy. Sorry, guys. But yeah, so I'd say more short runs. Obviously, you should have a higher rate per mile. You know, there's a lot of hotshot freight in the Midwest that's going, you know, 200, 300, 400 miles that you can get at $3 and up. You know, you can be at $4 a mile a lot. Obviously, your gross number is not going to be as high, but I mean, the goal would be to, you know, find a 1,000-mile run that's $3 a mile, you know, or a 1,500-mile run that's $3 a mile. And they make sure. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I had a phone call. But no, you can find that longer mile freight. But if you're just worried about rate per mile, obviously shorter runs are going to be better. But you want to find that great middle ground between averaging a good rate per mile, so staying over $2.50, $2.60, $2.70, $2.80, but also being able to put in a lot of miles, right? Because even if a run's only 300 miles, most likely you're going to pick it up, drive, get to where you're going to drop off, stay the night, and then drop off in the morning. So it's the same as if you had to drive 600 miles. I mean, obviously you're not paying the fuel or whatever, but you're like that time that you could be driving, you could be, you know, making more money on that load. You're not, because it's a shorter run, right? But yeah, it's all about just finding that middle ground. I mean, about putting in a good amount of miles, but also keeping that rate per mile up. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream. If you got any questions, drop them down. If you want to see what's popping, hop in. You know what I mean? J-Lo hasn't been live in a minute, but here we are once again. Great questions, though, Ronald and Michael. Good stuff. Tommy says, are you still dispatching for other companies? If so, how do I set up? Yep, dispatching service, my guy, is going hard. Let me drop my email right here. We are only dispatching for CDL owner operators that have at least a 35-foot trailer. So that's kind of the parameters right there. But that's my email, guys. You can send me an email with what kind of equipment you have, maybe some of your expectations or your knowledge or how long you've been with the company or whatever. Just email me right there, and then we can have a conversation about dispatching in general. Sorry, guys. Let me get this. Okay, where am I at here? I'd love to live in a semi-truck for about 2.5 years and always be on the road. Yeah, it'd be a grind, Ronald, you know, just be able to travel all through the United States. On the road making that dollar bill. I mean, yeah, I don't know how I would like it, but it could be cool. I'll just be on live here shortly, guys. Got some other stuff to do. But I just want to hop on real quick. I know I haven't been live in a while. Like I said, I own majority as well in a pest control company here locally in Missouri, as well as I own a good part of a pressure washing company that I bought with my friends, you know, and I kind of manage that. Obviously, we got employees that do a good amount of the work. They get paid good. But being that spring's hitting up, you know, and being that we just bought this pest control company, it is taking a lot of my time to get the system to where I want it to be so that it can flow, you know, freely. Like the trucking company right now, it's flowing really well. You know, we got good dispatchers, we have good people in what's the word I'm looking for? We have good dispatchers, and we have good people in place in all aspects of it. We have good drivers, we have good equipment, you know, with the lease on and everybody. We have, you know, people in the back, they're always here to help. So it's just flowing really well, you know, and it's ready to be expanded. And I use that same, you know, mentality. I use that same system building for every company, right? For the pressure washer, for pest control, you know. It's a little bit different for each company, obviously. You know, different things can be done. But right now, it does take a good amount of my time, my brain to be able to do it, you know. And so I can't really focus on making a YouTube video. I just don't think about making a YouTube video, and then, you know, here we are. But welcome, guys, to the live stream. Got 8 people in here. Welcome, 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 welcome. We're talking all things trucking. Mostly just Hotshot, but you want to talk semi, we talk semi. Ronald, Vegas is a tough area. I used to live in St. George, Utah. Go to Vegas a lot. But, yeah, one guy lives in Houston. One guy lives in McAllen, Texas. Rod lives in Neosho. I'm going to have a guy in Massachusetts. But if you're in Vegas, you're definitely going to need to be able to haul the most amount of freight possible, and you definitely need a 40-foot trailer because it is not the easiest area in the world to find good freight. And so you need to not limit yourself when it comes to the equipment that you have. Because we tried to do a non-CDL setup out of Vegas, and that was rough with 2 hours. Rough. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the live stream. I'm going to get off probably in like 14 minutes or something, 15 minutes. But yeah, guys, like I said, man, trucking's going good. I got a couple cool videos coming out soon. You know, obviously we're getting more owner-operators. We're getting more trucks on the fleet, so I want to go over those trucks with you, go over the owner-operators. You know, you guys really seem to like that a lot. But just let you know how everything's going. But, you know, we're here to expand. Here to expand the company, here to grind it out, you know, here to make that cheddar. But the biggest thing for me, guys, is like, I'm not personally, I'm not really a greedy person. Like I don't care about how much cash is in my bank account because at the end of the day, the dollar's dying super hard. I mean, a lot of times what I do is my extra cash, I will buy silver with, you know. So I like to stack some silver. That's one of the things I do, guys, because the dollar's dying super hard, right? And so it's always about, you know, there's some old coins right here, but the dollar's dying super hard, guys. So it's important to be able to reinvest. But like what I like to do is like my investments, like I love just building this business, building a system that generates cash, and then I reinvest that cash into other businesses or into things that hold my wealth, right? Like silver, for example, it's wealth holding. We're not going to make a ton of money doing it, but it's way better holding money in silver than just having a stupid bank account with 10K in it or 20K in it. That's dumb, right? And so once I build these systems up to where all my bills are paid, it's also generating cash. I can then bring on my family, my friends, people I care about, give them good employment to where they make good money. Find a place where they stick in and where they do good, and they'll be good to go. Sorry guys, gotta. Tommy asked if we talked to Danny Holly Cash yet. I haven't talked to him in a minute. I've been hopping on a couple of lives and we talk a little bit. I need to hop in another, like, we used to have Hotshot Hindsight when I first started, but just like a little podcast type deal, a little conversation. Because obviously I've grown a lot when it comes to this company. I know a lot more now. When I talked to him, I was very fresh. I think I was like 2 or 3 months in. But now it's been, 17 months? 18 months maybe now. So we're just going. No, it's definitely been 18 months for sure. Yeah, it's been like 20 months probably now, something like that. I don't know, 18, whatever. No, it's been like, I don't know. Anyways, haven't talked to him in a minute, but definitely need to hop back in that because I've definitely learned a lot. And I'd love to touch base with them and see how everything's going. I know that Ray, one of our lease ons, just had a conversation with them because they had a car that needed to be moved. Ray did. But yeah, guys, we're out here grinding. You know what I mean? And for me, dudes, like, this is what I do, man. I mean, I love not having, the 9-to-5 grind. I love not, being able to get up and just do what needs to get done. Obviously, I don't make that much money. Like, I did a whole house pressure wash the other day, and I didn't make any money at all. Like, I didn't pay myself, right? Because I had to pay an employee. Obviously, the business is going to profit, and that's going to bless me in the long run. But I love just investing in the system that's being built, so that just generates, guys. That's what I love. I love the systems, and I can step back from the system after maybe a year of building it. The trucking company might take a couple of years, but not step back to where I'm not doing nothing, but just be able to put people in place. Because at the end of the day, to me, it doesn't matter how much profit. Like people, a lot, what they try to do is they try to hold on to too much profit, and that causes their business to fail or to struggle really hard because they're trying to do everything because in their minds they can't afford or they need to make all this money and blah blah blah. But for me, it's like my bills are paid because I already have systems rolling, right? I don't need more money in my bank account. I don't need to be able to just cash everything out right now. I can just keep leveraging it and reinvesting it and putting people in place, right? It's like if we're profiting 10K a month and I'm doing 50% of the work. If I can have somebody do 30% of what I do for, let's say, 3K a month, we're still profiting 7K, but then I have so much more time to be able to work on expansion, to work on, another company, to work on other investments, to work on making sure my guys are good to go, giving them phone calls, making sure they know that I'm there for them. That's really, really important stuff. That doesn't get done when you try and do everything yourself. So, definitely something to think about. Yeah, you use the platform, man. That's what leasing on is. When you lease on to somebody, you're leasing on to their system. Like, people are like, oh, who should I lease on with? And it's like, well, look at their system. What's their averages? How much money are these trucks making? And obviously they're going to show you the best months, the best weeks, or whatever. But if you're going to lease on with anybody, you need transparency because you're going to lease on to their system. Do you like their dispatcher? Do you like him as a person? Do you like the owner? how are they running, how do they operate. Like those are things that are important when leasing on, you know. It's like, what fuel card do they use? What EOD they use? Is that something that I'm going to be able to easily use? What type of software do they use to track all the loads and everything? And so it's just real important to figure out what works best for you, and then you can make good money as well. Let me see, I'm trying to figure something out real quick. Cliff said, I have an older F450 7.3 liter and would like to start Hotshot. Is that diesel? 7.3? Was that the old diesel? I do have a CDL and planning to get a 40-foot trailer. What's your thoughts on the older truck? Honestly, Cliff, I'm not a fan of using older equipment, especially for Hotshot. A lot of these trucks originally weren't made. Yes. Lisa. You gotta stop. I'll be out in a second, okay? 1 sec. I love you. But a lot of these vehicles, obviously these diesel dualies, they aren't made to really do Hotshot in general, right? And so if you take an older one that possibly could have problems, already has a lot of miles on it or whatever, like that's definitely not made to do what you're about to do with it, right? And so do I think you can make money with it if the truck holds up? I definitely do. But, you know, you have such overhead, right? You have insurance overhead. I mean, obviously in your case, you might not have a truck payment or whatever, but you already have so much overhead, so much debt you're going to put onto yourself because of you're doing this venture, right? I mean, insurance is going to be, you know, let's say for example, in your case, brand new driver, new authority, whatever. Not a new driver, the fact you don't have any experience, but your new business, right? It might cost you at least $2,000 a month for insurance, or maybe more, right? And you know, that's not the only thing, right? You have other costs that are going to be associated with it as well. So if you trust that truck enough to be able to pay your bottom line, then go after it. But honestly, you know, I'd much rather have a brand new vehicle that has warranty on it, so that when I'm starting this, you know, I'm not worried about, is my truck going to make it? You know, I'm not worried about what happens when my truck breaks down. Because at least for that, you know, first year, 100,000 miles, or first 40,000 miles, I do have a warranty to where I can go back to the guy and say, hey, what happened? You know, like, let's fix this truck, right? But it's also brand new, so the chance of something bad happening is going to be a lot lower as well. So that gives you a peace of mind to be able to say, hey, I'm gonna grind and make this money. You know, and obviously breakdowns happen. You know, Ray had to get a whole new transmission in his truck. Rod's had to change a couple things. But because their trucks were new, they had, you know, let's say 100,000 miles of use of that vehicle, or 50 to 100,000 miles of use where they made really good money before that happened, right? And if you bring a truck on, like say an older truck with a lot of miles, or maybe it doesn't have that much miles, and you can only get 15,000 miles out of it before, you know, you start having any problems, or before it needs mechanical attention, you're not going to have enough money back to be able to pay your insurance, which means it could get canceled, right? So that's something that is going to be very difficult. You know, a lot of older semis, right? They're built to be able to do a million miles, right? You could say there's a lot of mechanics that do rebuild. They rebuild the engine, they rebuild the transmission, so they basically give a lot more life to these semi trucks. And so yeah, using older semi can definitely get behind. And yeah, that's kind of what I think, Cliff. Hey guys, welcome to the live stream. You got any questions? Cliff, thank you for asking the question, my guy. That's my honest opinion. I mean, if you have a lot of belief in your truck and you can do a lot of do a lot of the maintenance yourself, go after it. But I definitely would not. If someone new to me came and asked that question, I would tell them exactly what I told you. I would much rather pay $800 a month for a brand new vehicle, a brand new truck that I know I can get a lot of life out of and a lot of miles out of before with a warranty before I have problems. Hopefully, that would be the question. Grunt Performance, what's going on, my guy? It's your boy J Love coming back at you with a little livey stream. It's been a minute, but here we are. I'm actually about to get off the live stream here in a second. I got a couple things I gotta attend to. But no, it's good to see you, brother. It's been a minute. Silence always means money. It always means money. No, I've been reinvesting in a lot. So we have the trucking company, right? Flash Love Logistics. Okay, here we go. Well, I got the trucking company, right, which led into. Oh. Ronald asked a question that I missed. Sorry. Ronald asked, dude, 25 grand if you're going to finance truck and trailer, you're going to be way more than good. You only need about 10K, I say. The 25 grand will put you in a really good position. Anyways, Grant, hope signs mean money. Obviously, yes, it does, man. So, we got the trucking company, which we got 3 guys leased on. Should have 8 trucks in about 3 months. We got a lot going on right now, getting people going. I actually got 4 trucks leased on right now, you can say, because the other guy starts next week. That led to Flash Dispatch Logistical Service, which I actually opened a whole nother LLC, sold some equity out of it. That's where all the dispatchers work. And so the dispatchers that dispatch my trucks, so the same dispatchers dispatch the other trucks, and they're actually, private contractors for Flash Logistics, but they're employees of Flash Dispatch Logistical Services, right? So it's like 2 separate entities. But then, October last year, we ran into like a really good deal on a pressure washing company called Jomo Pressure Wash. And so my friends and I snagged that beast up, and so now it's getting to become spring again. So we're doing a lot of pressure washing, and I really like pressure washing, so I'm out there doing a lot of the grind. And then February I got a good deal on a local pest control company. So my friends and I picked that pest control company up, and that's been more of like a slower grind, really building the system there. So with it getting warmer outside, obviously a lot more pest control needs right now. A lot more pressure washing going on, but the truck company, honestly couldn't say it could be better right now. A lot's going good for us, and we're blessed, Obviously, I'd love for fuel to be a little bit cheaper, but yeah, it is what it is, boys. That's where we're at, man. How are you? Are you guys on the road, or what's going on? I know when we first started watching, when we first started talking, you didn't have a truck, you're getting a truck on the road. Now I know you're probably going after a lot. That's not bad at all, man. Pest control is good, man. A lot of, like they say, a lot of millionaires, own pest control companies. But I like pest control because a lot of contract stuff, so like a lot of guaranteed work. We have a lot of commercial work right now, and actually pressure washing. We've been working a lot of commercial work. I landed a contract with the biggest housing developer in the area where I live. And all we do is go and spray the concrete off after they finish a house. They pay us like $80 a house, but I mean, it's about $2,000 guaranteed per month, and there's always more houses coming. And then we're also working on a bid for Burger King right now, just doing window cleaning and doing concrete cleaning monthly. But I mean, I'm hoping to be able to generate $4,000 to $5,000 of just contractual value with the pressure washing, and then been able to do another $5K in just houses. But pest control is cool because I love landing big contracts. You know, it is kind of a dog world out there when it comes to pest control. Because if I know how much, I mean, anybody's like this. If I know how much you're paying for pest control, I'll undercut them by like $10. You know, $5 to $10, and then puts people in positions to change over. Yeah, pressure washing is cool, man. It's really cool. I mean, a house wash, for example. You know, if I go to a house, maybe 1,000 square foot. Usually a wash on that's going to be, $300. But then you add cleaning gutters out, you can add the concrete, you can add, a couple other little things. Before you know it, you have a $400, $500, $600 value of a home, right? And you can do that in about 4 hours. So you can do $1,000 days. I'd say right now we probably do around $500 days. But it's consistent, a lot of people want quotes. We're going out, be able to sell people on the quote, and we just landed a quote yesterday for $800. On a duplex, and so it's like that's going to be a day's work. We'll bust that out and then on to the next, right? But then you also have the contractual stuff, the guaranteed stuff that people are paying us, like that, or the contracts, whatever I'm trying to say. So I mean, you can do. I mean, a lot of guys do big, but I mean, if we can do $10,000 months, I'm more than chill with that. The profits are about 50% of that. There's good margins in it, so it works out good. Be able to give my friend who does the services, give him a good employment that he gets paid good for. Hey, your biggest cost for any of the pressure washing is, obviously fuel now, but just having a good service guy. Then the Scat Pack's chilling. I think I got like 6,500 miles on it right now. I actually didn't, I don't really speed or anything, but I don't really speed or anything, right? But I do like getting up and going pretty fast. And I'd never turned my traction control off because I never even really thought about it. But then my friend was in the car and he turned the traction control off. And I'll tell you, it made such a difference. Like, I thought the car was fast. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Hit a corner and kind of, get the tires a little loose. But yesterday we kind of had like a car meetup, and when I drove off, I kind of gave it a little bit, and dude, I almost lost it. I wasn't going to lose it. I wasn't scared about losing it, but after I whipped it, I was like, oh my gosh. Even second gear, dude, like, I'm burning rubber in second, So it's a cool car, man. It's a good time. Clip says, would you recommend going straight into semi step deck? I'm moving from Hawaii to Vegas, just trying to make a plan. Man, that wouldn't be a bad idea as long as you can, find a good semi and finance it. We're actually getting a pretty good deal on a semi come this week. But dude, it's up to you, man. I mean, Las Vegas isn't the best area for Hotshot, honestly, right? And if you already have, good, what's the word I'm looking for? Experience when it comes to semi, maybe you're a company driver or whatever, and you're trying to buy your own equipment. I mean, right now in this market, if you had $100,000 or access to $100,000 that you can spend on whatever you want, not saying like, oh yeah, because financing a semi-truck and financing a dually diesel is a lot different, okay? Anybody with a good credit score can go down to a truck, or go down to a car lot, any car lot, and finance a dually diesel if you have good income and a good truck, nothing commercial about it most of the time. But a semi truck, a lot of times, even if you have the best credit score in the world, a lot of people want to see an established trucking company buying it, or they want to see a guy with a CDL buying it, right? That can drive the truck. And so to buy a semi truck, you're gonna need a good credit score. You're probably gonna need at least 20 to 30% down right now because they're so overpriced. Honestly, I mean, there is an MSRP when they're new, but buying new is different. But you're going to at least have 20 to 30% down because these banks aren't going to loan out a lot over the value of the truck, And yeah, so it's going to be a little bit more difficult. But you can go into, if if you find the right dealership, you can go in and get a brand new dually diesel dually diesel truck, 3,500, 4,500, 5,500 for MSRP, right? And a lot of times, maybe my Scat Pack, for example, I put 3% down, and I got 0% financing on it. Like, that could have been the same thing for a diesel truck. You can get really good interest rates right now on dually diesels. A lot of times you don't have to put any money down right now to get a dually diesel. So if you had $100,000 that you could just spend on anything, that's what I'm saying. Like, you had a loan or you just had cash, I would go semi-truck and step deck. Probably a little bit more because step deck's a little more expensive, right? But if you do need to finance, and let's say you're not in the best position to buy a semi-truck, chances are you're not going to be able to buy a semi-truck, and that's where Hotshot comes in. I know this because I've been trying to buy a semi-truck for a long time, but I don't have a CDL, and they don't like that. But our company now, honestly, is in a position where the company is established enough to be able to buy the truck, right? But in Rod's case, he got a business loan for like $120K, and he ordered a 550. He was putting a sleeper on it, got a really nice trailer, and they thought, well, this was a business loan, right? So it didn't matter what he spent the money on. It was just for business, right? It was for his business. So the bank wasn't expecting to have any. It wasn't a secured loan. Does that make sense, guys? They weren't expecting to have anything backing the loan. When you buy a vehicle, the bank gives you the loan. That's why it's a lot easier to get like a vehicle loan, because they're just using the asset or the vehicle itself to back the loan, right? But he got $120K without having anything to back it, right? And so it's like, if you can have that without having anything to back it, I mean, go semi-truck. Your gross is going to be higher, your profits are going to be higher. Usually. Yeah, Grunt, that was basically our only hurdle. And like finding a good enough deal to where we didn't have to put so much money down also was kind of a hurdle, right? I mean, on a $100,000 loan. So let's say, for example, right now, we got approved for a $100K loan for a semi-truck and trailer. It's not just $100,000, right? It has to be backed by the equipment, right? They're willing to give us 80% of the value of the equipment. So if we do $100,000, we're going to need to put $20K down. But it's backed by myself, the co-owner of the company, and then a whole other company as well, because we have a pest control company we're going to use to back it. So the banks, it's rough. It's rough, and I think a lot of people want to go through traditional CDL financing. Maybe banks that are kind of, that's what they do. They finance for like equipment like that. They're screwing people left and right. I think high interest rates, lots of money down. I mean, honestly, don't get a loan that wants you to put 40% down. Like, that's dumb. Like, look at your cost of capital. They're like, because if you don't think about it, guys, like, they're gonna basically have the right to that equipment for 60% of what that equipment's worth. So if you default on a loan, they're chill, because they already got 40% down. They're gonna resell that equipment for a lot more than what they own on it, right? Because it's their equipment, So you gotta be real smart about your cost of capital, And I love to go through my friends who are investors and be able to provide them with a really good deal for capital for our trucking company, So that's something a lot of people haven't even thought about, If I can package the trucking company as a good deal for an investor, right? Let's say they give us $100K, and you need to realize, well, what's an investor look for an investment? Usually people want to see 12% returns. That's pretty good. If you can offer somebody a 12% return on their investment over the life, and like the way it would work is, let's say they give us $100K, we can use that money for wherever we want. We just guarantee them 12% returns, right? And so they keep their money in and feed off these returns until they want to pull their money out, right? So the $100K doesn't get touched. It does get touched by us because we use it to buy equipment. But if I can promise them, yes, we can give you 12% returns over the life of whatever, right? Or guaranteed 2% return every month, for example, or 12% returns a year, right? So that would be 1% a month. So they would get $1,000 a month, basically, if I'm correct. I know that I'm making a 40% return off of their money because the system's already built, and basically all I'm doing is giving them $1,000 a month for letting me hold on to their $100K. But if you want to get even deeper, guys, He could do that with 3 people, get 300K, take that 300K to a bank and say, hey, I got 300 grand, give me a loan for $1 million, and then you go and you buy a ton of equipment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to realize what's the cost of capital. You know, and a lot of people have money and they just need things invested in. You know, so if I can package a deal for somebody and say I'll give you 1% returns a month for letting me have this money, let me hold on to it, pull it out whenever you want, but they're not going to pull it out because they're going to be getting their returns. I can then use that money to secure an even bigger loan from a bank and then buy three trucks with it, right? And so then you're having a better outcome on your cost of capital. Grant says, who do you go through currently? Well, we're working with a bank called Cash Valley Bank in Utah. It's just a little local bank. I think a lot of times people want to go with these bigger banks, but it's like, just check out your local credit unions, you know, see if they're willing to loan on equipment or do business loans. And usually they can give you the best rates because they're smaller companies. They need your business more than, you know, a mega company does. But cool. But yeah, that's my rambles for today, guys. Talking business. But I think like because you can almost one thing I'm gonna try and do is you can almost make your trucking company look like, you know, a stock or a bond. You know what I'm saying? Like people want guaranteed returns. And I can definitely give them a guaranteed return. You know? And because I can definitely get them a guaranteed return because I know I'm going to make money off the top of that truck, right? If I had the cash to buy a truck and trailer and put a driver in it, I know we're probably going to profit $8,000 a month, right? My company's going to profit $7K off the top. But the one, what am I trying to say here? One sec, guys. I'm dealing with a little problem here. You just need to buy true. Okay, I am back right here. 1 second, guys. What was I getting on at? Oh, yeah. Yeah, so if I can get 100K, I know I can buy a truck and trailer, which is going to make us at least $8,000 profit per month. And so I can definitely offer the person who gave me the 100K the $1,000. But the thing is, you don't actually use that $100,000 to pay for the equipment, right? Because it's not your money. You use that to show a bank, hey, I have 100K in the bank. Give me a loan for 200K. But you don't give them the money to give you a loan. I'm not putting anything down. I'm just saying, hey, we have 100 grand. I am looking to secure secure another loan with that 100 G's, right? So I have 100 grand. Can I get a loan for 300 grand? It's secured by this 100 G's, so you know that, you know, you have this right here. But then now we have how much? We have 400 grand now, and then well, obviously they probably want to lock up that 100 G's, which is perfectly fine because I already got 300. Then you buy a couple trucks and go with that. Ronald said, would you recommend financing a truck or getting a business loan like you were talking about? Ronald, it's going to be really hard to get a business loan, especially when you're first starting out because your business isn't going to have any, it's not going to be making any money. So that's probably not going to happen. When you're first starting out, you're going to have to finance a truck and put your name on that truck. So that's why credit's going to be pretty important to get the best deal on that. And if you're trying to do like a dually diesel, it's going to be a lot easier than trying to finance a semi-truck. Have I ever tried to get an SBA loan? No, I've never tried to get an SBA loan. I am still doing MMA. I'm really busy right now, so I haven't been training on all the time. So I don't have any fights booked right now, but I am still doing it. What state? I'm out of Missouri, my guy. I live in southern Missouri. Is Central Dispatch still accepting carriers? I'm not 100% sure, my guy. Honestly, I got Central Dispatch, I got accepted by them, and then I never ran a load for them. I just canceled. But I'm not much of a car hauler. But I know that if you're trying to do cars, Central Dispatch obviously is going to be your go-to. But if you're just doing freight, truckstop.com. That's what we use, boys. Grunt says, I just almost got triple brokered. That's crazy, bro. Let me tell you a story, though. We were, so obviously we dispatch for trucks that aren't ours, right? If you guys need a dispatcher, hit me up. Email is actually in the chat. But we booked a load for a guy. I think I was paying, what was it paying? $2,800 on like 1,200 miles. So solid load, right? $250 a mile or whatever. He gets there to go to the pickup, and the guy who's loading them realizes, hey, your paperwork is different than everyone else's, right? Has a different broker on it, and it has a different carrier on it. It wasn't even him as a carrier, right? And so he's like, yeah, we only work with C.H. Robinson. Like, he was going to load them, right, because the paperwork was legit. But he's like, we only work with C.H. Robinson, and I don't know why you're not C.H. Robinson right now. So he gets kind of spooked, right? He gets spooked. And he calls Trent, and Trent's like, well, let me look into this a little bit. So he hits up the broker that we booked the load with, and he's like, hey, you guys are going to have to, have some form of, like, proof of payment, pay us before we deliver or whatever, because he got loaded, because, they're kind of questioning this, we're kind of questioning this, we see that you're a new company, like, we need some sort. The guy's like, oh, don't worry, we're a partner company and blah, 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 like, we're going to pay you, blah, blah, blah. And Trent's like, I don't know if you are, man. Like, you guys need to pay us before we deliver or whatever. And so then we have some connections to C.H. Robinson, right? Because we move a lot of loads for him, just with all of the trucks that we have. And he calls his contact, and he's like, yeah, man, we don't allow double brokering. We don't allow double brokering. And the guy's like, well, I think this is getting double brokered. So the guy looks into it, comes to find out that it's being double brokered, and that's not allowed. And so then the broker that we booked the load with is freaking out and like, hey, you need to drop this, you need to take this load off your trailer right now, or you need to deliver it, or we're going to, like, report you to blah, blah, blah. Because they didn't want to lose the load, right? Because they're making good money on it. And so then we get an updated Raycon directly from C.H. Robinson. And how much do you think that Raycon was for? Do note that it was $2,800 on 1,200 miles. What do you think the new Raycon was for? I want to guess. Who's guessing right now? Let me know. What do you think it was for? It was $2,800 on 1,200 miles. It was double brokered though, so they're taking a little slice off the top. Well, I thought it was a little slice. But the new Raycon came back, guys, and it was $4,000 directly from C.H. Robinson. They were trying to make $1,200 off of one load. What pieces of shit, boys! Like, real talk. When I heard about that, I was like, no fucking way. Because obviously we talk about, you know, like brokers taking advantage. And I mean, like, okay, man, dude's making $200-300. I think that's too much, but whatever. You know, they should be making $100 a load or whatever. But dude, when we got 4,000 back, they were so pissed, that brokerage, because we took that load from. We took their whole contact, you know, because they couldn't use C.H. Robinson loads anymore because they got blacklisted, right? So every time they tried to book from there, they were done. And it's like, what scumbags, man? Like offering like zero. They're offering basically zero worth. They're not really doing anything. And they're just taking so much money for doing nothing, like just greedy scumbags, you know? And it was just hilarious, bro. It was a good time. I was like, no shit, bro, that's crazy. Girl, oh no, it wasn't 6,200, Ronald. That would be insane. Girl, I don't know if we'd want to dispatch for you if you're trying to go to Texas every week. That's pretty intense, bro. You need a new driver. What's up, Lisa? I will in a minute. That's crazy, dude. These brokers are insane. They're just trying to scrape every dollar they can. It's bullshit. But yeah, guys, I'm actually going to hop off right now. I got a couple things to get done, but I'm glad I was able to get on live with you guys and talk to some of you. I'll be able to bust out some more videos. Like I said, we got a lot of cool videos coming out. A lot of cool videos coming out quick, and it's gonna work out good, guys. But hope you guys have a good day. I'll talk to you later, and yeah, stay 100, boys. Stay on the road. Stay safe. Make that cheddar.